Is everybody ready? I don't have my I do that. You do that when I leave. No, it's all good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 26, 2019 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. This evening we entered agenda review at approximately 5:45 p.m. We then had a motion by Mr. Christou and a second by Ms. Miller Herrera to enter executive session at 6:19 p.m. where we discussed the employment history of employee number 11/14/2018 and also employee disciplinary matter number 06/26/2019. And we exited executive session at 6:47 p.m. with a motion by Mr. Guidarelli, a second by Mr. Christou, and at approximately 6:48 p.m. with a motion by Mr. Christou and a second by Mr. Signor, we exited our agenda review meeting. So, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Present.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Present. Mr. Signor?
Present.
Mr. Thomason?
Present.
5 present.
Okay, would you all please rise for the pledge? Mr. Carney, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have several public hearings this evening, and what we do, and we also have public comment privilege of the floor. So just for those of you that are here this evening, and whether it's your first time or you haven't been to a meeting in a while, we have a 4-minute limit. What I'll do is, when it gets to be 3 minutes, I'll just raise my hand, and don't misunderstand me. When I raise my hand again at 4 minutes, if you still have a few seconds, please continue. I'm not going to shut you down unless you go on for 10 minutes, okay? I won't do that to you because I want you to be able to collect your thoughts and give your thoughts to the board on whatever it is on your mind, and particularly during the public hearings. Also, I will be stepping away from the dais for resolution number 18119. I will be recusing myself and stepping away from the dais before that resolution is voted on because Kevin Knights is my son-in-law. So I just want everyone to know that and make that public statement so that when I leave here, it's not personal. It is personal from the perspective that because he's my son-in-law, I cannot vote on his appointment. But I will go to the side and go out there while Mr. Christou moves that resolution this evening. So let's enter into the public hearings. First, we have public hearing 1. Ms. Marco.
To allow for a change of zone request from Craig Serafini for a property located at 2212 Greenpoint Avenue, Rotterdam, New York, 12303, known as tax map number 59.14-9-15.1. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from R1 single-family residential to R2 two-family residential on a plus or minus 0.2 acres for the construction of a duplex. And nobody signed up, Steve.
Okay, so we have no one signed up for public hearing 1. Is there anyone that would like to be heard on public hearing 1 at this time? Anyone that would like to be heard on public hearing 1 at this time? Anyone that would like to be heard on public hearing 1 at this time? Okay, now I'll declare public hearing 1 closed. Public hearing 2, Ms. Martin.
To amend Chapter 270 of the Code of the Town of Rotterdam to provide for special use permits allowing adaptive reuse of religious and educational buildings. And nobody signed up for that.
Okay. Again, anyone that would like to be heard on public hearing 2 at this time? Anyone here that would like to be heard on public hearing 2 at this time? Anyone that would like to be heard on public hearing 2? Okay, we'll declare public hearing 2 closed at this time. Public hearing 3.
To allow for a change of zone request from Stewart Shops for properties located at 1174 Floral Avenue and 1180 Floral Avenue, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, respectively known as tax map numbers 58.12-1-11 and 58.12-1-12. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from R1 single-family residential to B2 general business on a plus or minus 0.301 acres for the construction of a 3,823 square foot convenience store with an associated 4-island gasoline dispensing facility on a combined plus or minus 1.29 acre parcel.
Okay, who do we have first on there?
Okay, Roxanne Osborne.
Okay.
My name is Roxanne Osborne Heller. I live at 83 Oakdale Avenue. We were here several months ago under the same guise, and I'd like to make several points. One being that spot zoning like this is detrimental to our neighborhoods. It means that anybody at any time can decide that this piece of property needs to be something else, and there you go. Now, I was told at the time that stewards can go ahead and build. We don't have any real voice in that. But I would ask the board to not just roll out the red carpet for these people. It's our neighborhood, we live here. We have a Stewart's a mile and a half up the road. And why they want to be here is beyond me. But what I will say is that at this point, if they go in and they drive out the other businesses, what will happen, say that their revenue isn't as high as they want, and they decide to close. Now we have 3 businesses empty, as just like the one down the street, which was Big Scoop, which sits empty. This is not promoting our neighborhoods, it's deteriorate them. I'm asking the board to deny them and say, you're good enough on the property that you own, and be done with it. Please. We want to keep living here in a nice neighborhood, not in a business development. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Chuck Marshall?
Good evening, I'm Chuck Marshall from Stewart Shops. We are seeking the rezone of 2 parcels, approximately 0.3 acres. We are seeking that as it is immediately contiguous to the B2 zone on Guilderland Avenue. That parcel surrounds on Lilac Street. Stewart's has a history in the town of Rotterdam, opening our first store on Curry Road in 1969, our second store on Burdick Street in Hamburg Street in 1991, and Burdick Street in 1992. We then went on to redevelop Burdick Street in Hamburg in 2013 and 2014. I'm proud to announce that we're also going to be redeveloping Curry Road after getting authorization to represent the parcels in the exact same process that we're here for tonight. A change of zoning that will now allow a motor vehicle fueling facility on a B2 parcel. Our proposal is to construct a 3,829 square foot store, 4-pump fuel canopy that'll have diesel, and a monument sign with landscaping that surrounds. We have already begun to work on amenities that will mitigate the concerns of the neighbors, including changing our hours of operation from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., decreasing the pole lights in the rear. It's just an example of what our willingness to do to work with the town and the neighbors that surround as they continue to express concerns. However, our ability to address those concerns, mitigate, really requires us to have this additional land, because as we go through the planning board, which unanimously supported the zone change, without the additional parcels, we're not going to be able to move those jigsaw puzzle pieces around as frequently or as freely as we have with pole lights and sizing and things like that. So I think this is an opportunity to provide stewards that better fits the neighborhood and mitigate the concerns simultaneously. And I'll answer any questions after the fact.
Mr. Marshall, so it's my understanding that even if for some reason this zone change does not happen, you're under the current town code, you're allowed to build on the rest of the parcel, correct?
Yeah, the parcel that currently houses AC Body Works wraps around Guilderland Avenue and then has frontage on Lilac from Guilderland to Floral. And what that'll do is that'll require stewards to build a building with the rear to Floral Avenue and the homes that we currently have under contract, and it'll place the gasoline canopy along Lilac. As we work to mitigate those elements like pole lights and yard lights, signage and the such, without that zone change, we're going to be hindered in our ability to accommodate changes. But yes, we can construct, although it is not as a right build, we would require area variances. We believe that we have the necessary land to construct a new facility.
Quick question, I'm sorry. Without the 0.3 acres, which way would the pumps be oriented? Pump
Do you
canter?
want me to draw it?
Sure, thank you.
So essentially, what we would do is we would decrease, as we're willing to do now, but decrease the number of curb cuts on Lilac, and then push them further toward Floral, and then have the canopy run essentially between the driveway near Floral and Guilderland Ave. And then put the store running north and south with entrances facing Guilderland Ave and Floral, and Lilac on the parcel that's currently zoned B2.
Okay, any other questions from the board before I? No. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ali?
Good evening. My name is Ashok Bhatt, 1844 Fairview Avenue. I have a kitchen at my store, which I brought open with me, and I have total people signed 517 who cannot come here, but they sign in my store. There were like 435 people in my store and 82 people that were online, like social media we had. I can present these plus one person who was willing to come, but he had something to do. He just gave me a letter for you guys. I can give you this.
Yes, please give it to Ms. Marco, please. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. And now I will talk about the property they are trying to change the zone on Floral Avenue. As they said, they can reduce the steward. If they have no lilac or floral entrance, we have no problem. You go on Guilderland Avenue and come back on Guilderland Avenue, no problem. But when you are diverting the traffic to floral or lilac, then we got problem because we are residential we are resident of in the Rotterdam, and we don't want our kids to be hurt. They cannot play outside. They cannot have. We don't have sidewalks. If you have a traffic going on, like we already have so much traffic, if you have more traffic coming up, we don't have sidewalks. They cannot bike rides, they cannot go outside, they cannot go with the strollers. I mean, mom cannot bring the babies out. And just for the sake of community, we are asking you not to allow them entrance on Lilac and Florida. And that's it about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hamza Noor?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hamza Noor. I'm a senior at Shalma High School, and my point is basically similar to Mr. Butts, that basically for a lot of the young people, we especially at this time of the year, we like to walk around outside, and I already saw as we were coming in, so many kids outside in these streets right here on their bikes and walking around. And the same point that we don't have designated sidewalks where pedestrians can walk around, and increasing the traffic from into the residential areas will make it more difficult for people to just walk around in the street, and make it a little bit more unsafe for the children especially and young people going outside, and it'll increase the traffic and the crowd and everything in the streets. And just as a representative from more young people, we don't want more traffic and more rush in our areas, and we like a residential area. That's why we live in Rotterdam, because it's more of a calm place, and we don't want more businesses, more industrial population especially in our streets. So that's my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Lynn Capper?
How you doing? I'm Lynn Keffer, 1034 Beverly Street. I just got thrown off by all this. They can build here even using the land because they purchased it in, what, 2 different zonings? I thought they have to change it for them to build next to it. He's saying they're gonna put entrances or something in there? Because I think if you get rid of them so they can't get this piece of property, with the 25-foot setbacks, they can't build in that L. So would they've already purchased this land and they're gonna use it anyways in the same building lot? Is that what he just said? Isn't that what I just kind of understood what he was saying? That we're gonna have 2 different deal lots, and if I tried to build a shed on my house, I had a 40 by 100 foot lot. I had to combine it into one property. One property. Is that what they're gonna have, 2 different properties?
Because you can't have a shed on an empty lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that we've had that problem.
Well, how can they build 2 different zonings in one property if they buy that? So what I'm trying to say is if they got a little L there and they tear down that shack with 25-foot setbacks, they can't build what they want. They want their cookie cutter Stewarts.
It was my understanding, and I'll ask Chuck to come back up and clarify, but it's my understanding that if they chose not to buy those houses.
Correct.
And they could fit the Stewarts on the AC Body Works property, legally they could build it, because it's
If they
zoned
could,
commercial.
but they're saying, I thought he said he bought the property and they were gonna make a different
I believe
roadway in
it's a
or
contingency.
entranceway.
It's a contingency, and their intent in my research was that it allows them to be more accommodating to the neighborhood. Now, if I'm wrong, I would like to be corrected, but that's what I understood, that based on our.
I don't think they got enough room. If they make an L there, they ain't got enough room. Not to put.
They likely would need variances, and that's, he did say that. They would
And
likely
there will
need
be
variances.
variances.
sidewalk variances.
Because do they own that property yet? Is that,
I don't know.
you haven't bought that property yet, the 2 houses? That's pending. Because I just feel if somehow you can stop them from building on them 2 pieces of property, they'll go somewhere else. I'm sorry, but that's what everybody wants. But, because we have traffic problems up and down that road nonstop, we talked about it before. They just did a speed limit. Did they get a survey? What was the results of that? They put one of them signs up on my road. I watch it from my house every night. People speeding. You know that people go through there, they're nonstop.
And those are used to, for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
Mostly it has to do with ensuring that the speed limit that's on that road is accommodative to the traffic, right?
Right. Well-
And also we use it in our law enforcement.
Right. So I seen that. I was wondering if they had any results of how bad the traffic is there already. We don't need it.
We can get that information to you. I don't have it handy tonight, but we can get that.
But that's one thing I thought, maybe like a traffic study, or like some stop signs, or
Well, that-
if they're gonna do their other deal, or however you guys end up.
That would go through the planning process. Those types of studies would be born during the planning commission process.
Okay. And another thing I got through there is the water. All about this water. Everything over there is all gravel. They're gonna put a big blacktop parking lot in. They're gonna put 25,000 gallon worth of tanks in the ground. Where's all that water gonna go? I showed you that paper we had the other day where they fused, because of everything over there is, you talked last time at the last meeting that 2 are single family homes on septic. That's that. Everything in that backyard out there is all septic. You're gonna put extra water. What's all that gonna happen? I'm saying, I don't think this is a good project. 3 of you people already said this is not a good project. So I don't know what it would take to tell you people to just, like the other guy said, help us, take care of us, will you? That's all I got.
Thanks.
Barbara Levingwell?
Good evening, I'm Barbara Leffingwell. I live at 1166 Floral Avenue, which is right next door to the 2 properties that they want to demolish and use on Floral Avenue. The issue that my neighbors mostly have is keeping this a nice residential. I mean, you can't believe all the kids on their little bicycles and everything. It's so residential. Lilac Street is a side street. And to have 2 exits and entrances for the Stewart situation onto Lilac is not acceptable. Now you're gonna have, it's not built for that, and you'll have a lot of traffic going where our children are walking, and I mean, that'll all be gone. It's gonna ruin everything. Rotterdam is a nice place to live, and I just wanna keep it that way. I love the businesses, they support our schools, but keep it, you know, and the Stewart's people, if they could configure it where it has nothing to do with Lilac, it's all Goodland Avenue, in and out. You see, and everybody, I think, is basically, that's our biggest worry. Don't mess up Lilac, don't mess up us. Keep it up with the business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's it, Steve.
That's it, okay. Anyone else like to be heard on public hearing 3 this evening? Anyone that didn't sign up? Anyone else that would like to be heard on public hearing 3 this evening? Anyone else that would like to be heard on public hearing 3 this evening? Okay, we'll declare public hearing 3 closed and go to public hearing 4.
The proposed extension number 2 of Sewer District number 7, Carmen Road Sewer District, consists of all properties immediately adjacent to the Carmen Road between the Albany County line north to the traffic circle intersection of Hamburg Street and Curry Road, as well as a proposed extension of a gravity sewer along Mara Lane to collect wastewater flow from 3 apartment complexes. The maximum proposed cost for this project is $2,132,000. The town plans to bond for the proposed project for 30 years at an estimated 3.5% interest rate. The annual debt service cost of extension number 2 of Sewer District number 7, Carmen Road Sewer District, will be $353. The extension will incur operation and maintenance costs of $42, treatment costs of $248, resulting in an annual cost per equivalent dwelling unit EDU of $842. Notably, in Sewer 7 Extension 1, Whispering Pines and Sewer District, and Sewer 7 Extension 2, Carmen Road Sewer District are constructed, the prorated redistributed debt service actually for Sewer 7 Extension 1, Whispering Pines Sewer District, and Sewer 7 Hamburg Street Sewer District would be $199. This would reduce the annual user cost for each EDU in the Hamburg Street and Whispering Pines Sewer Districts to $489. To connect to Sewer District number 7, Extension 2, Carmen Road Sewer District, there currently is a one-time $35 sewer lateral inspection fee, as well as a $500 sewer connection fee per dwelling unit, and a $1,000 connection fee for commercial usage for properties within the established sewer district that connects to the collection system. Connection to the proposed district shall require the installation of a lateral by the property owner. The town welcomes the public to attend this hearing for an opportunity to comment. The approval of the state comptroller is not required for the establishment of the proposed sewer district extension, and the town resolution establishing the proposed district is subject to permissive referendum as provided by the New York State town law. The public presentation of the map plan and report in accordance with New York State town law related to the creation of the proposed extension number 2 of Sewer District number 7, Carmen Road Sewer District, was filed with the town clerk on June 12, 2019, and continues to be available for public inspection in the office of the Rotterdam Town Clerk during regular business hours at the www.rotterdamny.org on the Public Works Department's page.
Who do we have on there?
I'm sorry,
Who do we have for the,
nobody.
nobody, okay. You didn't sign up?
I signed up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe.
He's on there? Okay.
Yes, he is,
All right.
I'm sorry. He's already there, so I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say, we'd give him a demerit.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Joe.
Good evening, my name is Joe Lennar with the Chazen Companies. I represent the town of Rotterdam relative to the presentation for Sewer District number 7, extension number 2. This information is very similar to the information that was presented to the board at a public workshop last month with some minor refinements. For the purposes of time, I'll try to expedite the review. There's been an ongoing need for municipal sewers in the town of Rotterdam, specifically in the Hamburg Street, Carmen Road, Prairie Road corridors, relative to existing facilities, as well as plans for future development of unimproved lots or lots that would be intended for redevelopment. Currently, the Hamburg Street Sewer District was created in 2016, construction was completed as part of a betterment agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation. Those improvements have been completed and sewer laterals are now available for connection. That sewer district discharges sewage to the city of Schenectady's municipal system. The current average daily demand is about 37,000 gallons a day with a peak flow of about 136 gallons per minute. As part of that project, there is a pump station on 4th Street. It has a current pump capacity of 200 gallons per minute, and it has the capacity to be upgraded in the future to the force main capacity of 500 gallons per minute when necessary. This is a brief description of the Hamburg Street Sewer District. It's essentially from the railroad tracks all the way to the roundabout on Hamburg Street. Extension number 1 of this sewer district included the Whispering Pines development, which was previously formed by the town board. As part of that project, there would be a pump station that discharges sewage into the existing sewer district using a force main that would run along Carmen Road. That system includes a flow equalization as well as a pump station. As part of that project, sewer district number 2 anticipates realizing a benefit of the force main that would be constructed as part of sewer district extension number 1. If by chance that project doesn't advance in it prior to extension number 2, related improvements that would be benefiting extension 2 could be captured in the form of a development agreement between the developer and the town. Proposed sewer district number 2, or proposed sewer district extension number 2 along Carmen Road is intended to provide gravity sewer from the southern end of Carmen Road near the thruway heading north towards the roundabout, where there would be another pump station to discharge sewage into the Hamburg Street sewer system. The pump station would be located in the vicinity of the hotel on the corner. There would be a force main that would be recaptured as part of the Whispering Pines development or included as an alternative and funded through a development agreement, as previously mentioned. All sewage from extensions 1 and 2 discharged to the Hamburg Street sewer system, which then discharges to the city of Schenectady system. The city of Schenectady acknowledging acceptable capacity within their system to take up the 500 gallons per minute previously stated. So a brief picture or diagram just showing what the sewer district extension looked like and the conceptual layout for the sanitary sewer. We did advance some preliminary designs. I'll kind of move through these quickly for the sake of time, but this demonstrates that there's a way to accommodate development of a sanitary sewer system to support those lots fronting on Carmen Road as well as some side streets and adjacent properties by gravity to a common pump station. The plan profiles have been developed with enough detail to determine the feasibility of this concept, including the side street and cross lots for the hotel site. As previously mentioned, this is Lamar Lane. Previously mentioned that the intent was to capture the use of the force main installed under extension 1. That's this diagram and how we would utilize it as part of the pump station discharge. If we need to advance a concurrent option that would be funded under a development agreement, we would use the same alignment previously defined for a gravity sewer and then pick up an additional easement across the gas station properties for connection into the sanitary sewer system on Hamburg Street. I also wanted to include a diagram. There's a large apartment complex that would be included in the sewer district since discharge from any of the individual units would exceed 2,500 gallons per day. The municipal sewer would be extended into the property to allow for a connection of each of the apartment units into the municipal system that would be constructed as part of this district extension. So how is this project going to be paid for and what are the costs? We estimated the cost to be about $2,132,000. This would be conventionally financed by the town under a special district formation. Parcels that benefit from this improvement would be contributing towards costs on an EDU or equivalent dwelling unit basis. In general, the town of Rotterdam has a formula for equivalent dwelling units. One equivalent dwelling unit is one single-family home. For multi-family developments, and one EDU is per dwelling unit, or every 75,000 gallons annual water consumption. For commercial users, equivalent dwelling units is correlated to that equivalent water demand of 75,000 gallons of annual water consumption. We've provided a table that summarizes all the tax parcels that would be included in the district and the EDUs that would be assigned to each of those districts for debt retirement as well as for operation and maintenance. So what will the cost be? Again, we estimated this to be about $2,132,000. We looked at a 30-year, 3.5% interest loan. That resulted in the debt retirement component of about $353 per EDU to address the operation and maintenance costs and discharge to the city of Schenectady system for treatment. We came up with another component. There is because of the existing district that we're tying into, there's a cost share there of $199 per EDU. Total would be $552. When you add in the operation and maintenance costs and the treatment costs, the total estimated annual user cost per EDU is $842, which we want to note is below the $845 per EDU limit requiring comptroller's approval. So we're just below the comptroller's threshold that would require the rate to be approved by their department. So what are the next steps? The sewer district formation of extension 2 would be passed by the town board at the next town board meeting following a seeker action, and then it would be subject to a 30-day permissive referendum. Upon satisfaction of that 30-day permissive referendum, the town board would be in position to pass bonding referendums for funding the project and advance the design development and land acquisitions necessary to move the project forward to entitlement, bidding, construction, and ultimately commissioning. With that, I did provide some time for any questions the public may have regarding the district formation.
I just have a question for you, because we spoke about this during our workshop. So the cost for the residents and commercial users along Hamburg Street will decline once this is fully built out by a large amount. Can you give me some indication on that?
Yes, I believe that what will happen is, as part of the district extension, more the principal and interest payments get reduced. So, do we have that number? Is a hang for 1 minute and we'll look it up to give you the exact number for that. With me tonight is Mike Clark and Zach Baxter from our office. Excuse me, folks. Some of us need reading glasses. Sorry.
Yeah, it will, based on the map planner report for the Carmen Road extension. Carmen Road's total annual projected cost per EDU is $842, like we show, and that includes a portion of the redistributed debt service from the original Hamburg Street construction, which would in turn, once Carmen Road and Whispering Pines are built, Hamburg Street's per EDU cost total per year will drop to $489.
And essentially, the total cost would be somewhere in the same order of magnitude of, when you add the O&M and everything else around, $842. And I think it was well over that as part of the initial formation, and that's why it was subject to comptroller's approval. So as we presented in the original map plan report, we included many provisions to extend that sewer district in a number of locations up to a 500 gallon per day maximum capacity for the receiving system in the city of Schenectady. So as additional extensions occur, there will be further reductions in the principal and interest payments as those costs are shared. And as mentioned during a capital project meeting with the town, there are opportunities to extend sewer on Curry Road east and west. If that is also advanced, those will further reduce the fees for all of the residents benefiting from the infrastructure.
Anyone on the board have any question? Does anyone in the public have a question? Sure, go ahead.
You're giving us this cost for this hookup. My question is, the people who are living there right now have septics. They've paid for them, they've used them, they've cleaned them, they've taken care of them. What happens when those people don't want to jump on board? Are you going to force them? And what if they can't pay it? What if they're on fixed income? Where is there something in there to take care of those issues when they do arise?
So the intent with the district formation is it would provide sewer access to all properties that would be in that proposed district. There's been a number of reported issues with septic systems that have failed.
I understand. My question is there anything in place to cover those who do not wish to hook up because everything they have runs fine, or they are on fixed income and cannot afford $800 to hook up to your system? Are there things in place to take care of that?
As part of the district formation, each property would be required to connect once the sewer infrastructure is available.
And the majority of this section also on Carmen Road is commercial. It's not residential. It's different than Hamburg Street. Hamburg Street, I concur with you that with that district formation, there definitely are residents there that can ill afford the cost. At the same time, without advancing this project, their costs don't decline at all. So over time, this project I think will not only bring in more commercial base for us there, but will afford especially the apartments and some of the other areas that aren't even included here yet. There's some other apartment complexes and others that their septic systems have failed miserably. The motel, okay, and other commercial properties there and residential. So this will be less expensive for them over time, because to replace the septic system one time today, depending on your property and how you can get in and out and so on, could be anywhere on the real low side, maybe 10,000, and then just keep adding the numbers. So here what happens is, if I could just finish this, is my thought. The town affords this opportunity where we're borrowing money over time and really reducing the overall cost for somebody, the outlay that they would have to put in one chunk. And I concur with you, don't misinterpret anything that I say, but I believe that this long term is better for those folks because they won't have to replace over time, and which will cost them a lot more money in the future.
I understand, but that still doesn't answer my question. Is there something in place?
There is no mechanism for that.
There is no mechanism to
No, there's no.
for a fixed income individual?
Unfortunately, there is not.
Okay.
No, there is not a mechanism.
So
in place.
they will have to make a determination to scrape together $900 that they can probably ill afford?
So first of all, this project is in the planning stages. It would take time for it to come to fruition once all these other properties are lined in. Like I said, I hear what you're saying, but again, they will be paying for it over time. Anyone else? I'm sorry. Anyone else have any questions this evening on this public hearing? Okay, you mind shutting that down, Joe? I'll push this up. Thanks very much for the presentation. I appreciate it. Okay, anyone else like to be heard on public hearing for this evening? Anyone else like to be heard on public hearing for this evening? Anyone else like to be heard on public hearing for this evening? Okay, no? So we'll declare public hearing for closed. Oh, yeah, hit the lights.
The lights.
The lights, if you don't mind. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll have time for public comment privilege of the floor. Anyone for public comment privilege of the floor?
Nobody signed up.
Okay. This is where if you have anything that is on your mind that you'd like to address the town board on this evening, public comment privilege of the floor. Anyone besides my grandson? Anyone? Anyone like to address the board? Okay. So we'll close the public comment privilege of the floor section of our meeting and move into the resolutions. So resolution 17919.
Adopt the meeting minutes from the May 22nd, 2019, June 3rd, 2019, and June 12th, 2019 town board meetings.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera, second, please.
I'll second.
By Mr. Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gittarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 17919 passes. Resolution 18019.
Amend the Rotterdam Town Board meeting schedule set by Resolution 332 of 2018 for the month of July 2019. The July 24th, 2019 Town Board meeting shall be moved to July 31st, 2019, beginning at 6 p.m.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christel?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomaso?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, I have to recuse myself at this time for resolution 181. So,
Ms. Marco, could you read 18119, please?
Sure. Upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, appoint Kevin Knights of Rotterdam, New York, 12306, as police officer of the Rotterdam Police Department, full-time probationary, with full employee benefits and an annual salary of $42,656.40, effective July 9, 2019.
May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Moved by Councilwoman Miller Herrera. Second. Second by Councilman Joe Guidarelli. Any questions, any discussion? Ms. Marco, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Christel?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason recused himself.
Okay,
So 4 yes and 1 recused.
4 yes, 1 recused, motion carries. Thank you, congratulations.
I'd like to ask Kevin and his family to come up, please. Place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Kevin Knights,
Do solemnly affirm that I will
do solemnly affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the officer of patrolman
of the officer of patrolman
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's a cutie.
I gotta stay here. You gotta go home with Mom. Yeah, later. Okay, resolution 18219.
Upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, appoint Sean Carney of Rotterdam, New York, 12303, as police officer of the Rotterdam Police Department, full-time probationary with full employee benefits, at an annual salary of $42,656.40, effective July 9, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18219 passes. Sean?
Do you want any family members to join me, Sean?
Bring the whole family up, let's
Get
go.
up. Get up there. You can go up. Everybody can go up. Be shy.
Mom?
Yeah, make sure everybody. Please raise your hand. Place your left hand on the Bible. I state your name.
I, Sean Carney,
Do solemnly affirm that I will
do solemnly affirm that I will
support the Constitution of the United States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of patrolman
of the office of patrolman
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Are you also a musician by any chance, or no?
Musician.
No? We're trying to put together a town band. It's not working.
How about softball? How are you in
Congratulations.
softball?
Yes. Okay, Resolution 18319.
Appoint Peter Grissler, Ryan Haley, and Nicholas Koskowski to the position of laborer in the Department of Public Works, full-time probationary with full employee benefits at an annual salary of $42,671.09, effective July 8th, 2019, July 15th, 2019, and August 5th, 2019, respectively.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Guidarelli, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, on the question, I would just like to let everyone know that the appointments that we're making this evening are all replacements. Here on this particular resolution, there's 2 replacements, and there was 1 position, additional position that we did budget this year because we have, as you go around town, you've seen, our water breaks and other infrastructure that needs repair, and so we have an additional laborer that we are hiring this year. So we have a motion by Mr. Guidarelli, a second by Mr. Christou. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18319 passes. Is Peter's here? Is Ryan or Nick here tonight? Ryan, how you doing? I wasn't sure if that was you because I've seen you so long. You got big. Yeah.
Thank you.
So congratulations. Good work. You got big. Your parents are feeding you well. Yes, they do. That's good. Okay. 18419.
Appoint Neil Como of Rotterdam, New York, 12306, to the position of motor equipment operator, heavy DPW for the Town of Rotterdam Department of Public Works, with full-time probationary with full employee benefits and an hourly rate of $25,977/1,000, effective July 1st, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18419 passes. Neil,
Neil is-
want to stand up? Start on one end and go down. It's easier than
See if I vote him for the tug of war instead.
Yeah.
You're on our team for the tug of war next year. So is the other guys.
That's a great idea.
We're having a tug of war with Glenville. We're supposed to be doing it next week, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Are they
And
afraid of going?
I'm not saying any of those things. I'm not going to say those things
I
publicly,
said
but
it.
we are going to reschedule it. And we're going to take a quick break here from the agenda, and we will have a sign up online. We're going to ask for 100 people. There's no specific quotient of male, female, or anything like that. It's 100 people who want to enter a tug of war contest with the town of Glenville.
I think we should
And we're going to have about
auditions.
20 to 25 alternates in case, some people don't make it, so that you know that. And that'll happen soon, hopefully. We had originally scheduled it for Saturday, the 6th or 7th of July, but we'll see what happens.
We're gonna need like an all-you-can-eat buffet and
That's
tryouts.
enough. That's enough. Let's not go
And
there.
Evan's our anchor.
Bulking.
Evan's our anchor on this.
We should have protein shakes
Okay,
outside on the way.
18519. 18519 was Marco, please.
Appoint and promote Michael Calarasi of Rotterdam, New York, 12306, to the position of senior laborer for the Water and Sewer Maintenance Department, full-time probationary with full employee benefits at an annual salary of $44,997.86, effective June 27th, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please, by Mr. Christou? Anyone on the question? I'd like to just mention Mr. Calarasi has been employed by the town working as a laborer in the Water Sewer Maintenance Department. He is a phenomenal employee. He's the right arm of our supervisor who happens to be here, Matt Lupi, and others. He's so we're promoting him this evening. Anyone else have anything? No. Is Mike here? I didn't see him. He didn't make it. He didn't. Okay. No worries. No worries. No worries. So Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18519 passes. Resolution 18619.
Amend resolution number 91.19, appointing individuals as members of the Town of Rotterdam Ethics Board.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera, second by Mr. Signor.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone on the question? On the question, I'm just going to read some brief statement here because I've only been met Mr. Muse a few times, but I'd like to give you a little bit of his background. Keith is an attorney and a decade-long resident of the town. He's a graduate of Albany Law School and Canisius College. He served as principal law clerk to State Supreme Court Justice Richard J. McNally Jr. since 2014. Prior to 2014, Keith served as an assistant attorney general for the state of New York, handling complex civil litigation. He was an assistant DA, handling over 1,000 felony and misdemeanor cases, and was a county attorney, prosecuting hundreds of child abuse and negligence cases. He also has interned for the Schenectady County Public Defender's Office and the Honorable Vincent J. Riley. Keith is a member and former senior elder of the First Reformed Church, coach for rec soccer, and assistant coach for Carmen Little League. He says, Keith and his delightful wife, she'll like to know that, Lindsay Cruz and Muse, are the proud parents of 4 children. God bless you, Keith. So Keith is here. That's on the question. So Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
An enthusiastic yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Before I vote, Keith, what's your best half marathon time?
Half marathon time?
Half marathon time.
I don't know.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can.
How do you feel about tug awards?
I vote yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Keith, thank you very much for taking it on.
I don't know if I'm supposed to speak, but I'm really honored that I'm able to serve the town in this way. So I just want to thank everyone for it. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
To get back to me on that question, Keith. All right.
Okay. 18719.
Amend resolution number 176.19 to reflect the actual date of publication date as June 25th, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou, second, please.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Markle, call the roll, please.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18719 passes. Resolution 18819.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review relative to the proposed local law referenced in resolution number 189.19.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Markle, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18919 passes. Resolution, no, sorry, 18819 passes. Resolution 18919.
Call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, July 31st, 2019 at 6 p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, upon adoption of the proposed local law of the year 2019 for the following purpose: to allow for a change of zone request for a property located at 711-731 Burdick Street, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, known as tax map numbers 48.9-2-4, 48.9-2-5, 48.9-2-6, and 48.9-2-7, from a B2 general business to R3 multifamily residential on a plus or minus 1.23 acres for the construction of 3 8-unit apartment buildings.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sigmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Markle, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 18919 passes. Resolution 19019.
Adopt a negative declaration dated June 26, 2019 to allow for a change of zone request from Craig Serafini for a property located at 2212 Greenpoint Avenue, Rotterdam, New York, 12303, known as tax maps number 59.14-9-15.1. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from an R1 single-family residential to R2 two-family residential on a plus 0.2 acres for the construction of a duplex.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 190-19 passes. Resolution 191-19.
Adopt local law number 8 of the year 2019 for the following purpose: to allow for a change of zone request from Craig Serafini for a property located at 2212 Greenpoint Avenue, Rotterdam, New York, 12303, known as tax map number 59.14-9-15.1. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from R1 single family residential to R2 two-family residential on a plus or minus 0.2 acres for the construction of a duplex. Public hearing was called for at the town board meeting of May 22nd, 2019. Public hearing was held at the town board meeting of June 26, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Signor. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? I'd just like to, for the record, to reflect that Mr. Serafini is a member of the zoning board of the town, so that's on the record. And anyone else on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, call the roll, please.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 191-19 passes. Resolution 192-19.
Adopt a negative declaration dated June 26, 2019 to amend Chapter 270 of the Code of the Town of Rotterdam to provide for special use permits allowing adaptive reuse of religious and educational buildings.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Mr. Signor. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, so Resolution 192-19 passes. Resolution 193-19.
Adopt local law number 9 of the year 2019 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 270 of the Code of Town of Rotterdam to provide for special use permits allowing adaptive reuse of religious and educational buildings. Public hearing was called for at the town board meeting May 22nd, 2019. Public hearing was held at the town board meeting of June 26, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Signor, second, please.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 193-19 passes. Resolution 194-19.
The town board of the town of Rotterdam hereby approves the application submitted by Primex Properties LLC Dollar General as contract vendee to construct a plus or minus 9,300 square foot retail building on a proposed plus or minus 42,226 square foot parcel located in the Aquifer Overlay District on tax maps number 20.5-8-1.12 vacant and tax map number 20.5-8-3 existing commercial building, 1217 to 1225 Main Street in Rotterdam Junction, New York 12150. Applicant is requesting to boundary line adjust plus or minus 11,249 square feet on property from 1217/1221 Main Street containing an existing plus or minus 13,000 square foot retail commercial building to facilitate the construction of a new plus or minus 9,300 square foot building. The public hearing was called for at the town board meeting of May 8, 2019, and a public hearing was held at the town board meeting of May 22, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 194-19 passes. Resolution 195-19.
Adopt local law number 10 of the year 2019 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 112, Section 5 of the Code of the Town of Rotterdam entitled Authorization of Inspectors to include Commonwealth Electrical Inspection Service, Inc. Public hearing was called for at the town board meeting of May 8, 2019. Public hearing was held at the town board meeting of May 22, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou, second, please.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 195-19 passes. Resolution 196-19.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into agreement with Grinman and Peterson Incorporated, 80 Wolf Road, Suite 300, Albany, New York, 12205, for the Sartoli Avenue and Rome Avenue drainage improvements, roadway reconstruction, and new water system, in an amount not to exceed $103,100.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, just on the question, this is a project that the board has been dutiful in its efforts to get this area of town. There's a couple of streets off Kings Road that do not have potable water. They're still on well water and septic in this area. We have a commitment from the county. We don't have it in writing yet, but we do have a commitment from the county to assist us in this project. So as we move forward here, it's something that's been in play for a long time. The residents that live on these, especially on Sartoli, just to give you some idea, so for those of you who know High Bridge, all those homes and businesses, if you will, kind of drain towards Kings Road. Everything drains that way, and Sartoli and Rome are right off of Kings Road at the bottom of the bridge when you're coming from Schenectady. And also Woodlawn drains in from the backside along the rail. So this area floods. If you have ever traveled out there when it's a lot of rain, a lot of snow, fast melting snow, that whole area really floods, and those folks are underwater. And so it's not a good situation. We're pushing ahead here to make sure that we help. So that's, I want to thank the board. I particularly want to thank the county leadership for assisting us in this project. So, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 196-19 passes. Resolution 197-19.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into an amended agreement with KV Group of New York Incorporated, 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 114, Albany, New York, 12203, for engineering services related to the Phase 2 of the Rotterdam Junction stormwater improvements.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Resolution 197-19 passes. Resolution 198-19.
Authorize the supervisor to enter an agreement and sign all documents necessary to effectuate the Empire State Trail Work Agreement with the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, the New York State Department of Transportation, and the County of Schenectady.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Christo. Anyone on the question? I'm here, I just want to mention that this project and even 197-19 is related. So the state of New York is working on the Empire State Trail and putting in tunnels under the rail lines in Pattersonville and Rotterdam Junction to give people safe passage on their bikes through those areas. They don't have to go over the tracks or back out onto 5S. The state also is assisting us in putting in a large drainage line from Lock Street to one of the tunnels, if you will, towards one of the tunnels. And it would have daylight out towards property that the town owns, which are known as the east and west ponds off of Navy Lane and 5S. There's a lot going on out there. We're very fortunate that the state is assisting us, and as you may or may not know, we recently received word that we're also going to get a grant with money that the town also has to put up, but just under $3 million to make improvements to 5S with sidewalks and pedestrian access for bikes and folks to safely get on and off the bike trail there, and hopefully improve the commercial prospects on part of 5S there along Main Street. So a lot happening. We're very fortunate. And lastly, the state, as part of this agreement with the county will be maintaining the trails. The town will assist in maintaining the existing and then new parking areas that are being constructed to have spots where people can park their cars and get on the trail with their bikes, obviously, et cetera. So there's a lot happening. We're very fortunate that the state is is doing all this work out there. It's going to bring a lot of opportunities to the junction and Pattersonville in particular for us. So Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Resolution 198-19 passes. Resolution 199-19.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into a lease agreement with Flag Land and Financial Services, Inc., 1111 Old Eagle Road, School Road, Wayne, Pennsylvania, 19087-8608 for a copier of the Town of Rotterdam Justice Court on a monthly rate of $146 and a per copy rate of 0.08 of $1 for 48 months commencing July 1st, 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo, second, please.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 199-19 passes. Resolution 200-19.
Call for bids to be open Friday, July 19th, 2019 at 11 a.m. for the Town of Rotterdam May Avenue tank painting contract.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ish.
I think Sam beat out
I
Joe.
heard her first.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm trying to be even.
No, I think it's next.
Joe's got one on this page.
I'll declare it a photo finish, Mr.
That's okay.
Supervisor.
Okay, on the question, I'll just bring up that the May Avenue water tank is the tank that you see from 890, which appears like it's falling apart. It's not. There's surface rust. The May Avenue tank has to be rehabilitated, however, so that it'll last us for another decade plus. The town 2 years ago was successful in a $5 million award, which was a $3 million grant and $2 million loan, low interest loan from the state for improvements to our water system, and this is part of that. This is not going to be an inexpensive project. This is going to be prevailing wage. It's going to be a big spend for us, but we're very fortunate the state is helping us not just with this, but with some other water infrastructure in the town. So we're putting this out to bid now, and one of the things that I'm happy about, and it may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but when you go through 890, you see that big water tank, you're going to know now that it's Rotterdam's because we're going to have Rotterdam, painted on the side of it. So
Who gets to pick which color?
Oh, that was gonna be my question.
can we not worry about that right now, and you can worry about that later on.
I got the Sherwin Williams wheel at my house.
It's not. It's
We have to coordinate the Rotterdam part with the color and the
Probably didn't need that part. Okay,
Maybe
so
we can get some
you have a motion by
LED
Mr.
lights.
Christo and a second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes, if I get to help pick out the color.
That's what I was gonna say.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 200.19 passes. 201-19.
Call for bids to be open on Friday, July 19th, 2019 at 11:30 a.m. for the Town of Rotterdam landfill leachate system improvements.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. I heard you that time. Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Wants to talk about this.
I want to explain my vote.
Oh, okay.
If there's a color to be picked for this one, I want. But I'll vote yes.
You're all getting a little punchy.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Thomason?
And before I vote, I want to say one thing about the landfill. The town for many years took in a lot of revenue from that landfill, and unfortunately never set aside enough money for closure. In other words, we're going to carry this thing forever. And whenever there are things that have to be done there, we have a little bit of money left, but it's going to continue to cost us for years to come. So landfills are great when they're in operation. When they're closed, they're nothing but a drain on the finances of the town, frankly. So, but we have to do with the with these improvements because they're necessary. So I vote yes.
5 yes.
201.19 passes. Okay, now we have consent items. We have a motion for them, please.
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion that we vote a consent agenda for items number 20219, 20319, 20419, and 20519.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Okay, anyone on the question on any of those consent items, 202 through 20519? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasone?
Yes.
5 yes for 202, 203, 204, and 205.
Very good. So those resolutions pass. Okay, anyone for committee reports or miscellaneous this evening? We do have to enter executive session, I believe, for a period of time here. No. Are we going into executive session? We are for this item. We discussed it earlier, but we did not, we need to go in for this one. What we'll be doing is, once, just so that you know, we're going to open executive session. We're going to go in the other room for however long it takes us. Then we have to come back out here to close the meeting down. So that we can end tonight. So may I have a motion for executive session for employee disciplinary matter number 06262019?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Okay. Ms. Mark, would you call the roll for entering executive session for employee disciplinary matter number 06262019?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasone? All
Yes.
yes for executive.
Yes. And my daughter just texted me that she left the pacifier here. So.
I got it.
Oh, you're the best. You're the best. I love how you did that too. That was perfect timing. All right, we're going to go into executive session. We'll be back out.